industries of energy.
We've got fantastic opportunities to use new technologies to secure the American people and at the same time be better stewards of the environment.
You have questions, we have answers.
Listen carefully.
You can't really be against hydrofracking and say you're an environmentalist because immediately the default options are fuels that are much less clean.
For the next hour, Shawn Wilson explores the energy industry with news and interviews from around the corner and around the globe.
Nuclear is one of the directions that we should innovate in.
The Exploring Energy Show begins now.
A very, very good Thursday morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Exploring Energy Radio Show. In our last segment today, we're going to have a call in from U.S. Senator James Lankford. Here's what's on the menu at Elk City Meals on Wheels on this 30th day of October. Whew. Broccoli and cheese soup, salad, garlic bread, and orange fluff is what's on the menu today. $8 for a regular meal, $7 for senior citizens, and that's just, well, that's everything. Your dessert tax just brings $7. If you're a senior citizen, $8, and you come out of there filled up. Dining room's open from 11 to 1, Monday through Friday. Everybody is welcome. It's located at 1510 West 9th Street there in Fairview Village if you're new to town. 225-5821 is the phone number, 225-5821. It's one of their fundraising sources, so throw them a few extra dollars. The Carnegie Library continues their free books. The Books Mobile. Carnegie Caravan, bringing the library right to you. Free books delivered to you by the Friends of the Library. Here's a phone number you can call, 225-0136, 225-0136. Ask them about their program. If you have a hard time reading regular print, they've got a free program that can help. 225-0136. And Sutty Strong, Little Sutton Hunt. We need to get behind her and stay Sutty Strong. All right, they've got T-shirts and everything, too, as well. So, you know, help out this little girl. She's from Hammond area. I know her parents and her grandparents and know a lot of their family. Her auntie used to work with us calling games for Hammond. So, you know, we do this here in Western Oklahoma. We get behind those that are afflicted and need our help. It's $100 for a raffle ticket. First place is going to get $5,000. Second place, $3,000. Third place, $2,000. If you'd like to be a part of this, or you'd like to donate, you'd like to buy a raffle ticket or several, call Lynn Walker, 580-660-0201. Let me get that correct. 660-0210. 580-660-0210. 0210. Lynn Walker. Talk to anybody in the Hammond school system or the Hammond All Sports. Help little Sutton Hunt. They're going to be running this raffle between now and November 12th. So do not delay. Get your tickets and your swag today. All right. So getting right to it here on this Thursday morning. Some of the energy stock prices dipping down just a bit again. West Texas Intermediate down below $60, trading at $59.89. That's down 59 cents on the December contract. Brent crude oil in the ICE Futures Exchange down 66 cents, trading at $64.26 a barrel. That's a December contract out of London also. Tocom crude oil in Japan is up 50 cents out of Tokyo. 61,830 yen per kiloliter. October contract there. New York Mercantile Exchange natural gas up 4 cents, trading at $3.85 per million BTU. That's a December contract. Harbob gasoline down $2.07 to $195.30. Heating oil down $2.72 to $239.71. And gas oil down $8.25 to $710.25 per metric ton. You'll see gasoline prices are down below $3 now, and that's these refined products are also indicative of that. Okay, well, OSU gets a $2 million grant to study water and energy efficiency. 3 land-grant universities, Oklahoma State University, Kansas State University, and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, are collaborating to determine whether energy production from animal waste and wastewater purification can occur within a single efficient technology system. Currently, there are separate technologies that generate energy by producing methane from animal waste, clean wastewater for reuse, and recover phosphate from agricultural byproducts. We have all existed in our own silos, and scientists are always working to make these systems more efficient and less harmful to the environment, said Kamerali Margalagi, the assistant professor of water in the OSU Department of Biosystem and Agricultural Engineering. You can pass his class by just learning how to say and spell his name. National Science Foundation recently awarded $6 million to the universities for this research initiative. The goal is to combine these three processes into one integrated system that benefits both producers and the environment. We're trying to develop one system for agricultural producers to handle their animal waste while also saving energy and water. They also want the process to have little to no impact on the environment and create valuable chemicals like hydrogen peroxide. The research aims to use carbon from animal waste to produce renewable energy. A portion of that energy would then be redirected to clean wastewater, allowing it to be safely reused as drinking water or crop irrigation. By doing so, farmers could significantly reduce their dependence on the Ogallala Aquifer, one of the region's most vital water resources. We are in that aquifer. At Kansas State University, Professor Perwalamasan, a civil engineer, developed a system that uses microorganisms to produce methane. The new project will expand upon this technology to explore how advanced wastewater treatment can merge with energy recovery systems, how to improve efficiency and cost effectiveness, how to minimize environmental impacts, how to adapt the system for producers across the Great Plains region. Now, OSU leads the wastewater and antibiotic research, okay? The leading wastewater treatment segment, Mark Kazmarek, OSU professor and interim head of the School of Civil and Environmental Engineering, is examining antibiotic residues in treated water and identifying microorganisms that may enhance energy recovery. So I think it's a great idea to take several different sciences, put them together, see if they can't come up with one piece of equipment, one idea that works on all of those, especially the reclamation of water. Water, our most valuable natural resource, it needs to stay on the forefront of our minds. And just the availability of water, and how can we reuse that gets used? Because, we understand that these new data centers use a lot of water. In fact, there's a state committee reviews data center impact on Oklahoma resources. One thing was made clear when the Oklahoma House Utilities Committee held a recent hearing. There's a split between Stillwater city and county leaders about water use by Google's new data center campuses. Okay. The Oklahoma Department of Commerce, John Woods, an economic development research specialist, shared that Oklahoma currently has at least 36 data centers. Did you know that? Oklahoma currently has 36 data centers. 26 are in Tulsa, 9 in Oklahoma City, 1 in Stillwater. Nationally known companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Apple operate them. This doesn't reflect all of the data centers in Oklahoma, Woods told the committee. It excludes government-operated, municipal, military, and private company facilities. Woods also revealed that at least 6 more potential projects are in the works, ranging in cost from under $5 million to several $1 billion. Operating centers employ an average of 9 full-time workers with an average annual wage of about $94,000. Oklahoma's expanding data center footprint, according to Woods, under the North American Industry Classification System, the NAICS, there are 709 payroll locations under the data processing code. Numbers grew from 1,416 in 2020 to 1,746 in 2025. with an average salary around $96,630 a year. Those figures underscore how data centers are fueling economic growth in Oklahoma, but also raising resource concerns. Payne County Commissioner Rhonda Markham testifies that residents have voiced worries about the Google facility's water use. People are concerned because of the drought and that they use a lot of electricity and water. Markham said, "My constituents who live next to this facility are very, very concerned." She noted that the county had signed a non-disclosure agreement with the contractor and has not yet direct contact with Google. Google's a very private company, especially in their data center locations. Markham even referenced photos showing flooding around the construction site in April 30, illustrating the project's visible impact. Stillwater City Manager Brady Moore, he provided a more optimistic outlook. He explained that talks with Google began in 2018, calling the project a game changer for the city. By 2019, plans were well underway before COVID-19 pandemic delayed process and progress. They finally contracted in, 2023 and said, "We've chosen Stillwater," Moore said. Moore emphasized the transparency, noting that even though non-disclosure agreements were signed, the record falls under Oklahoma's open records law and can be viewed by the public. Stillwater's primary water source is Call Reservoir, 8 miles east of Ponca City. Stillwater's blessed that we have 50 million gallons per day water rights up at Call Lake. According to Moore, even during drought, he noted the reservoir stays full. The city's peak demand has reached 14 million gallons per day only twice. The northeast zone, where the data center is under construction, is a 3.2 MGD capacity for new growth, million gallons per day. For the first two phases, the Economic Development Agreement allows for 2.7 million gallons a day, which uses most of the capacity. Moore explained any future expansion would require Google to invest in Stillwater's water treatment plant to increase the system's capacity. So there we are again. Water, our most valuable resource. And I'm glad to see people are taking note. People are starting to see that, hey, listen, we can only filter this much water. You're going to require this much more, then you know what? You're going to have to invest in it. That's what I've often said. Those who are needing it need to pay for it. How much harder can that get? I'm going to take a quick break and be back with more of the Thursday edition of the Exploring Energy Radio Show right after this.
The Exploring Energy Show.
Need to dig it? Then it's time to rent it. But call 811 first and then head on over to DJ's Rentals and Sales and let their knowledgeable staff help you get it started. Whether it's a backhoe, postal digger, a mini excavator, or a skid steer that you need to help make that job a little easier. You can find them all and more at DJ's Rentals and Sales, 911 South Main Street in Elk City. Text them on the text line at 580-799-7214. Find and follow them on Facebook. And don't forget to call 811 first.
Okay.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We do brakes, alignments, oil changes, filter services. You know, if it's a fuel filter, air filter, we'll replace the front end parts on alignments, ball joints, tie rods. We don't do any engine work, but we do about everything else. Oil changes is something your car has to have done. There's many choices. We have a lot of repeats just because we take care of them. They come in, we get them out. They don't have to question, worry about if something was bad. Did you check it over? You know, if they call and make an appointment, we get them in and out a little quicker. They can show up. If it happens to be the right spot, we can get them right in and out. If not, you know, say it may be an hour or so, they'll leave it, come back, you know, on their lunch break or whatever. We have a lot of those every day. L&R Tire, 1204 South Main, Elk City, Oklahoma, the home of Bridgestone Firestone tires. At L&R Tire, we'll take good care of your vehicle.
Can I ask you a basic, somewhat obvious question? Energy, agriculture, gas, oil, beef. Is it possible to talk about one without talking about the other?
Not standing over a gas-operated flat top, I suppose, next to a bunch of gas-operated fryers.
Gas, and more gas. I live in California.
Yeah.
Maybe you've read somebody somewhere has waged a war on gas stoves.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Thoughts?
In a nutshell, I prefer to cook on gas stove.
There it is, official.
See their stories at oerb.com/micro.
Fence building or welding, John 6 will get her done. 6 Wire Company, 580-497-6213.
This is the Exploring Energy Show.
This show's proudly brought to you in part by American Hose and Supply. What if before you needed them, you went ahead and called American Hose and Supply? What if before your hoses failed, you had those replacements ready there at your place to put on? How much easier would that make your life? How much easier would that get you up and going again? American Hose and Supply inside the Camrock building next to Fred's Steakhouse in Elk City. Call 303-1123. 303-1123. Go to those who know hose. American Hose and Supply. And David Allen Guest, certified mineral manager. What a great guy this is. I mean, a man of integrity, a man of just immense knowledge, especially when it comes to managing mineral and royalties. And what this will bring to you is a trust that he will get you the most out of your royalties. A guy you're going to be glad you're doing business with. I know David personally. I've known him for several years, and everybody that I've talked to that knows him says the same thing. He knows what he's doing, and he's really good to do it with. If you find yourself in a situation to sell, David's also one of those guys that's not going to take advantage of you. When you're vulnerable like that, you don't want to be taken advantage of. You want somebody. Well, he's a buyer of royalties from estates, probates, trusts, and bankruptcies. Somebody give you a fair deal, and he's the guy. David Allen Guest, 405-341-8698. 405-341-8698, or call or look him up on the intraweb at David A. Guest, certified mineral manager. And Fred's Steakhouse, home of the $4.99 chicken fried steak. I mean, this thing fills the plate. Mashed potatoes, hand-breaded, served daily. Boy, it's good. $4.99 chicken fried steak. And they're your destination for fresh USDA-graded beefs, ribeyes, New York strips, filet mignon, sirloins. Those pork chops they have, whether it's grilled or fried, are fantastic, too. Fred's also has numerous side options, freshly baked rolls made daily in their in-house bakery. Chicken's your choice, 7 kinds, maybe seafoods, what you crave. They have that. They got freshwater catfish. They also have appetizers. Get yourself started. Cap your dining experience off fresh in-house made desserts. And if you like to have a cocktail or wine or ice cold beer with your meal, they've also got a full-service bar. Fred's Steakhouse can host your private event located at 2107 South Main Street in Elk City. 243-2100, 243-2100. Order online at the Chow Now app. Open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Been looking forward to having Senator Lankford call in on our last segment today. Well, you know, the U.S. oil field production rose to a record 13.6 million barrels per day last week, according to the EIA. Out of Reuters, the U.S. weekly oil field their production rose by 15,000 barrels a day to a record 13.6 million barrels per day during the week ending October 24th. U.S. Energy Information Administration said in its weekly petroleum status report on Wednesday. Gulf Coast weekly crude imports fell 477,000 barrels per day last week to 597,000 barrels per day, the lowest on record for that data showed. But again, the United States, pardon me, has the oil. And we can get it to market. You know, and that is something that a lot of companies are unable to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, they just can't seem to get it out of the ground and get it where it needs to be just as quickly as we can. And that also goes to show you that, you know, we have all that record last week. So we have the availability of the product. Of course, you know, not everybody wants to sell it when it gets below $60. Of course, you know, those are trading prices. I can't reiterate that enough. Those are not what these people are getting at the head, the spot. Those are spot prices. And those are a whole lot different than, you know, what we're talking about, the trading price for the company. So it's just one of those deals where we have to balance between, you know, supply and demand. And you know, you saw natural gas go up over $3.50, which, you know, by all indicators, that's profitable, anything over $3.50. Of course, winter's coming, you know, and there's a cold front coming through. We're already experiencing here. There's a little, there wasn't any frost on my windshield this morning, but it was cool outside, no doubt about it. Hovering around 34 degrees. Like we have like 37 degrees here at the station right now, but these are all factors in the natural gas. Of course, you know, natural gas also provides a lot of electrical generation, and it will continue to. You know, and it's wonderful that Oklahoma's sitting right on a gob of it. Well, even though it did go up today, we're asking ourselves, why was the U.S. natural gas price dropping? That was a question Rig Zone asked Art Hogan, chief market strategist at B. Riley Wealth, in an exclusive interview Tuesday this week. In response, Hogan told Rig Zone that technically natural gas found some resistance up at the $3.57 per million British thermal units level and is now testing support between $3.27 and what it is today. Hogan added that fundamentally three things seem to be in play here: steady production, comfortable storage levels, and normalized weather predictions through November. Output has stayed near a 3-week high of around 108 billion cubic feet per day over the past few days, while record production earlier this year allowed energy firms to build inventories well above seasonal levels. Weather forecasts show mostly normal temperature forecasts across the U.S. through mid-November, according to Hogan. When he was asked why the U.S. natural gas price was dropping in a separate exclusive interview, Phil Flynn, a senior market analyst at Price Futures Group, told Rig Zone that natural gas is struggling as cold weather forecasts are easing and because of record Canadian natural gas supplies. We also have a bit of a commodity risk off as metals and oil plunge, he added. Still, record-breaking LNG exports should keep us from falling too hard, Flynn went on to state. In an EBW Analytics Group report sent to Rig Zone by the EBW team on Tuesday, Eli Rubin, their energy analyst at that company, warned that the November natural gas contract is volatile, entering options expirations. While the November natural gas contract urged 13.8 cents in volatile session yesterday, December added 2 cents and January slipped to 0.2 cents as the front month connected from the rest of the curve. Although fundamentals suggest a bearish bias for November, monthly rollover volatility can also follow non-fundamental drivers into final settlement, he added. Rubin went on to state in a report that U.S. natural gas storage is on track to reach 3,925 billion cubic feet. That's near the trillions. Rebounding production and record Canadian storage over a sample supply picture to open the November-March leading session. The other thing that they're leaving out right now is that Trump's He's coming off his Asian swing, and he's even struck a deal with China. And it was more on the agricultural side, but I can promise you this, it's going to help on the energy side as well, too, because even with all the tariffs and all the trade negotiations and trade wars, if you will, with China over the past few months, they've still been buying U.S. natural gas. They can't produce and what they need. So Trump knew that we had a lot of bargaining power there, and China knew it too. But at least Trump was willing to go over there and get face-to-face with a guy and, make a deal. Now, can you trust those deals? I hope so. But, I mean, if you don't go over and you don't ask, you don't get kind of thing. Kind of curious to see how it will all play out, but I promise you, we got a president that's working his butt off for us. And I hope people start understanding that. And I hope more and more people understand that even as much as they hate Trump, he's been right about a lot of things, almost everything, honestly. Not 1,000% batting average, but he's up there. Of course, 3 out of 10 times gets you in the Hall of Fame in the MLB. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. Don't you dare go anywhere. We'll continue with the next segment right here on Exploring Energy 96.5 KECO's Exploring Energy Radio Show.
Stay informed with the latest news from the energy industry on the Exploring Energy Show.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Hey folks, this is EJ Grediman with ASCO Equipment out of Elk City, Oklahoma. If you need rental equipment, I got your back. From excavators to wheel loaders, telehandlers, and forklifts, we rent the brands that you know and trust. With flexible terms, responsible service, and expert support, we're here to keep your job on track. Need equipment? We're on it here at ASCO Equipment. Visit ASCOEQ.com or stop by our Elk City branch, 513 West 20th here in Elk City, Oklahoma, or you can just give me a call, 580-243-9233. Appreciate it, folks, and y'all have a blessed day.
In the land of Ford, October is really Trucktober, a time to challenge ourselves and help truck buyers. The stock is in, and our place is covered with over 100 pickup trucks. We even had to ship some over to Truck Island. They're all waiting for loving families to give them a good home. To meet the challenge of selling 100 trucks by the end of October, we're going to take big trades and make big deals. The Trucktober Challenge is on at Barbara Dyson Ford in Elk City, online at barbadysonford.net. Truck lovers, come and get them.
Need to dig it? Then it's time to rent it. But call 811 first and then head on over to DJ's Rentals and Sales and let their knowledgeable staff help you get it started. Whether it's a backhoe, a post hole digger, a mini excavator, or a skid steer that you need to help make that job a little easier. You can find them all and more at DJ's Rentals and Sales, 911 South Main Street in Elk City. Text them on the text line at 580-799-7214. Find and follow them on Facebook. And don't forget to call 811 first.
Craving a real steak? Fred's Steakhouse in Elk City is firing up flavors 7 days a week. The grill is always hot and the steaks are always fresh. From juicy char-grilled ribeyes, fillets, and sirloins to chicken fried steak, hearty burgers, seafood, and chicken, there's something for everyone. Don't forget the appetizers, salads, and desserts to top it off. Bring your appetite. We'll handle the rest. Dine in or order online now on the DoorDash app. It's more than just a steakhouse. It's Fred's.
For over 100 years, Farm Credit of Oklahoma has proudly served our area's farmers and ranchers. So when it comes to ag lending, don't fret it. Call Farm Credit. You'll never regret it.
Stay informed with the latest news from the energy industry on the Exploring Energy Show.
Show's brought to you in part by Sustaining Oklahoma's Energy Resources, part of the OERB. Got some upcoming educational opportunities. Well, this outfit continues to educate our industry, and they're doing it for free. This is a wonderful organization, folks. I'm telling you, the part of the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board that is voluntarily funded by the oil and gas industry. It's not a tax-funded outfit. And here's what's coming up. November 6th, facility design. It's an in-person or Zoom meeting. Design and operation of oil and gas production facilities is changing fast to meet demands of new regulations and recommended practices from industry associations. This is going to be talking about modular facility design, regulatory compliant, closed vent system designs, application comparisons of bulk and test separation trains, facility piping design specifications. Lots of good stuff. All you got to do, go get yourself registered to attend this Zoom meeting. Get the link at www.soer.oerb.com. That's that simple. soer.oerb.com. Get yourself registered. December 4th, they've got the Natural Gas Midstream and Marketing 101 class coming up. So again, that is www.soer.oerb.com. Sustaining Oklahoma's Energy Resources. And again, ASCO Equipment. Heard from E.J. Gredeman. He's going to be our featured guest this next Monday. But they have flexible rental rates. He'll also tell you or recommend the kind of equipment you need for the job that you need. You can rent equipment. You can buy equipment. You can trade in your equipment. Equipment sales is headed up by Bart Shields. Branch manager is Jeremy Bridgman. It's all at 513 West 20th Street right here in Elk City. 323-3422. Maybe you're a farmer out there and you've got a project you need something big to work with. They will work with you. 323-3422 or online at ascoeq.com. ASCOEQ.com. They'll even come and work on your equipment no matter when you bought it, who you bought it from, or what brand it is. We're talking about the big stuff: backhoes, wheel loaders, cranes, dozers, excavators, tractors, forklifts, compactors, pavers, skid steers. ASCO Equipment. Online, ASCOEQ.com. And DCP Services, also a great sponsor of this show. Diversified Oilfield Company, offering the right services with the right people on the job. They have a roustabout division, a lease operators division, wireline division, both braided and slick line options, the DCP Pump Repair Shop. We appreciate Jeff and Terry Davis. They've been with this show a long time also. You can get a hold of Jeff at 580-660-0501, 660-0501. That is DCP Services. Okay, back at it here this morning. You know, Chandler was picked as like one of the latest opportunities for a big data center. All right, well, Coweta residents, they opposed by some, Coweta residents about this data center. Even as state leaders might embrace the growth of data centers around Oklahoma, it also has its opponents, such as those who gathered Tuesday night at Coweta to learn details about the data center proposed by developer Beal Infrastructure. Well, Beal acquired nearly 200 acres of this land from the city of Coweta, and this week confirmed its intentions to locate a data center at the site. It ruins all of our little farms around here that we've worked our lives on. We don't want what all this stuff is going to do to our livestock, Frost said. We've got donkeys and horses and mules here and pigs. We don't know what all this noise and air pollution from these diesel generators are going to do. So it's kind of the NIMBY thing. You know, we're okay about it, but we don't want it in our backyard. Okay, well, those concerns in mind, 2 News spoke with Tony Burkhart, who represents Beal Infrastructure, the data centers developer. The group hosted a public meeting, again, October the 28th. He says this: we have a pretty particular focus on build sustainable, responsibly sited data centers in close partnership with the communities, Burkhead said. What qualifies the data center as sustainable? Well, that's a great question. Our goal is to work with communities to define what it means for that particular community, right? Our goal is to figure out what does it mean to them and try to make sure that we're designing and engineering solutions to meet that definition and meet that goal, Burkhart said. As for the data stored at this planned facility, Burkhart said it is somewhat mysterious. I actually don't know the answer to that question. I'm not sure our customers would be able to. Most of them, their policy is we don't look at your data, Burkhart said. The Frost are concerned and fearful, but admit it was everyone who brought the data centers to be. The reason we're having these data centers pop up all over the United States is because all of us are demanding all this AI and all this information right now, Frost said. I'm just as guilty as everybody else is wanting it right on my phone like that, and that's where it's all coming from. Developers said they recently finished a project in Tucson, Arizona, and made significant changes to the plans based on, well, their community input. So, and well, it should be. It shouldn't be a one size fits all. And I'm glad that these farmers, ranchers are standing up and saying, "Hey, listen, here's what our fears are. What can you tell us to calm those fears?" And that's what people want. They just want someone to tell them, "Hey, here's what we're planning." Now, this guy goes to say these big diesel generators. Now, maybe they're going to be running diesel generators. I doubt they're going to be running diesel generators. But, there is a noise factor. I didn't realize that there were so many data centers already in Oklahoma, 30 plus. Not out here in western Oklahoma. I guess maybe that's, out of sight, out of mind, that kind of thing, but I do know that where they are located, that they are very, very secure. They do, everybody that goes on one of those places has to sign a letter that says, if they start talking about what they see inside there, then they're going to be liable. So there are a lot of secrecy. Mysterious is what this story called it. I agree. There's a lot of that around those data centers. But the big deal is what kind of noise, what kind of water, what kind of an impact they're going to have on the communities. And I'm glad at least they're listening to what the communities have to say. I'm going to take a quicker break this time, so we'll have that out of the way. So when we get Senator Lankford on the phone, we'll have ample time to talk. I'll be back with more right after this.
The Exploring Energy Show.
You know why people like going out to eat? It's a little treat for them. They get to leave the house and go somewhere else and have somebody else cook the food and serve it to them and clean up afterward. All you got to do is pay and leave.
I know a lady that makes it at Janice's Cafe. We go out there and eat all the time. You know why? It's not at home, and it's better than what we cook. One of my favorite things to eat at Janice's Cafe, the catfish. It's good. It's got the crispy breading. Oh, it's like they made it with love, with a little bit more love on top of it.
Bacon cheeseburger.
Best bacon cheeseburger in the business. Name another one.
Mushroom and Swiss.
Best mushroom burger there is ever. Janice's Cafe can make all those burgers for. Of course, they got burgers. They got the best burgers you can have.
Do you think more people drink sweet tea or unsweet tea?
Well, you know what I am.
Half and half.
Half sweet, half unsweet. Janice is located on the south side of Elk City, where you go into the movie theater, right there next to Arby's. You'll be able to find it because there's a big old sign up there that says Janice's Cafe.
So if your farmer need a hose built, you can come in, we'll build it. Oilfield customer and need us to come out and see you, we'll come out and see you and take an order or pick up a hose, build it, bring it back to you. Solves that problem. I'm Brock Kalk, and my company is American Hose and Supply. We sell all types of industrial hose and fittings, oilfield or agriculture. You needed a hose like yesterday. We will stop what we're doing, and if we got to go to our Oklahoma City shop and get it, we'll do that. And I've done that for a lot of my customers. The business I've done with the Oilfield, they got to see your face. Whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever the customer prefers, that's what we're going to do. We sell all types of industrial hose and fittings. In the Oilfield, sometimes you get a call for a crazy, hey, can you get this? And you go find it for them. American Hose and Supply. Come by and see us at 2111 South Main, Elk City, Oklahoma, in Camrock Building next to Fred's.
Or call 303-1123.
Solves that problem.
So there's a company out there that has a certain color. All the farmers and stuff think their oil has to be used in those certain color of tractors. And it's just not true. So here at Camrock, we have the same specification oil as the other brand, where people think that they have to use that for a certain color on their tractors and stuff like that. But we have the same oil specifications as they do. Works just as well, does the same thing, lubes it just the same. Price comparison is, it's not even a comparison. We have a better price than anybody around on that type of oil. I use it at our place. My son uses it for our colored tractors that we have, and a lot of other farmers use it too. It's the same oil, specifications are the same. It's kind of a myth where they think that it's got to be that certain type of oil for that color of tractor.
Camrock is the name of the company. It's 2111 South Main, Elk City, south of Fred's Steakhouse.
We have a better price than anybody around on that type of oil.
Killoffer Flooring Center, right on the corner, right on the price. Corner of 6th and Main, downtown Elk City, Oklahoma.
This is the Exploring Energy Show.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. This show brought to you in part by Camrock. We just heard from Ronnie Red. Well, after a busy spring and summer, you're ready to put the old tractor and equipment up. Well, do the maintenance. Do it ahead of time. Stay proactive instead of reactive. So next spring, when you pull it out, it works like you need it to. Get everything you need for tractor and motor maintenance at Camrock Supply, next to Fred's Steakhouse here in Elk City. Online, camrocksupply.com, camrocksupply.com. Okay, we are going to go to the phone line. We have U.S. Senator James Lankford, and I was teasing with him right before we went on that, hey, the phones are still on up there. Senator Lankford, good morning.
Hey, I'm down the street at a payphone.
Yeah, no doubt. Do they still have those?
The phones don't work here in the Capitol. Everything's shut down, so I have to be at a payphone down the street.
You don't have to worry about getting mugged since the streets have been cleaned up
That's
there.
correct. There's a National Guard member standing right next to me. So
Had a kid.
This is the craziest season, the craziest shutdown. If you'd asked me a month ago, are we going to have a shutdown, I would have said no, because there's no reason to it. There's no buildup for this. But Democrats literally just determined we're going to have a shutdown. We're mad at Trump, and the way we're going to express we're mad at Trump is to have a shutdown. And
what does it do to the American people?
Oh, everybody's so frustrated. I'd say everybody's done with this. But as of this weekend, things like SNAP recipients, Head Start gets cut off. All the federal employees, whether you're air traffic control, USDA, the Department of Energy, all of our staff, they're not getting paid. I've actually gone to dispersing and asked them to hold my check. Constitutionally, members of Congress still get paid no matter what. I've asked them to hold my check and say, I'm not getting paid until my staff is getting paid. But it's just dumb. The whole thing is just a dumb thing.
It is such a head scratcher that it's all about, well, I know there's probably more than one thing, but the trillions of dollars to give illegal aliens health care and Social Security benefits. I just don't understand it.
Well, initially, the Democrats came out and said they want $1.5 trillion to be able to reopen the government for 4 weeks, and then they wanted to renegotiate it all over again. So that was their original thing, and it had things like health care, as you mentioned, is health care for people that are not citizens. It had climate change initiatives on it. It had all kinds of new Obamacare subsidies that they wanted to be able to add in, just $1.5 trillion for 4 weeks, and then they wanted to be able to start all over again. Literally no one would take that deal. No one would do that, thinking that this is absurd. Now that we're a month into this, Democrats can't decide how to get out of it. Their plan was to have a shutdown. They didn't have a plan how to get out of it. And so they haven't even made a proposal even to John Thune, who's our Senate Majority Leader, to say, okay, here's what we're looking for now. There is no proposal that's out there, but every time we say, why don't we just open the government, period, no strings attached, no partisan anything, just open it up for what's called a continuing resolution, just same rate that we're in now, just keep it open. They voted against that 13 times. They're like, no, we won't open the government, but we also won't tell you what we want now to reopen it. So we're in this endless loop right now, waiting to try to figure out how to be able to get out of this.
And
by the way, I do have a bill
Go ahead.
that actually stops government shutdowns forever.
I was going to ask you about
last
that.
session. I got 57 votes. I need 60 to actually pass it, but we got 57 votes that actually blocks shutdowns forever and says, let's just take this off the table no matter who is in the majority or the minority. And all it does is it says, if we get to a moment like this, and we will again, the government keeps running at current spending levels, but members of Congress have to be in session 7 days a week, and we can only work on appropriation bills. It kind of locks us in our room, says you didn't finish your homework during class, you got to stay after class to finish it. So it's pretty straightforward. We had 57 votes to be able to get that. If we'd have gotten 60, we wouldn't have this at all, but I'm going to continue to work as we get out of the shutdown to be able to pass that so that this never happens again.
Well, that's 3 more votes than what they're getting for, reopening the government.
Right.
So why wouldn't those Democrats go ahead and start coming to the side of like, hey, we got to get the government back open, so we can, so daily lives can go on again.
Well, interestingly enough, there are probably 10 Democrats now in the Senate that are saying, okay, it's time. Let's get it back open again. They've pulled together their own proposal. They've given it to Chuck Schumer and said, hey, go negotiate this with Thune, and Schumer is sitting on it. Schumer has determined it's not time to be able to reopen the government, so he's blocking even his own senators that are fellow Democrat senators for even negotiating with Thune to try to reopen the government. We think this is all about the New York City mayoral election, that they're trying to keep the government closed down through the Mandami election in New York City, or the New Jersey governor's race or the Virginia governor's race, so that they don't actually tell their quote-unquote base that they caved to the Republicans and to Trump right before the election. But we don't know, because they won't actually say. All we know is that they won't negotiate, and even if a group does try to negotiate, Schumer just tells them it's not time to negotiate and you can't.
A knife to the throat of those that are depending on SNAP. I mean, you and I have talked about it many times. That program's rife with misuse. There are people that are using that shouldn't. It was intended to help those in times of need, not become a lifestyle.
Right.
And so, but still, it's just, is there a solution? I mean, of course, this CR only got us through to late November?
Yeah, November 21.
So
for the SNAP issue on it, interestingly enough, I totally agree. There's all kinds of problems with SNAP. We actually fixed those in July. So in the One Big Beautiful Bill, one of the changes that we made as Republicans was in the SNAP program that we focused in on people that are eligible should get SNAP, but how do we get people out that are not eligible? And we changed the rules on it to be able to say, if states allow people in it that are ineligible, then the state taxpayer has to pay for it, not the federal taxpayer has to pay for it. So that should dramatically reduce the number of people that are getting it that are not eligible. Now, that's still being rolled out. That's going to take a year to get fully implemented out there. But that change has already started to try to get in the SNAP program. People eligible get it. People that are not eligible don't get it. That should be pretty straightforward and follow the law. In the meantime, as you mentioned, Democrats in the Senate are calling SNAP beneficiaries leverage, saying, I understand there's got to be some suffering out there among families, but we need leverage politically. Those folks probably don't consider themselves leverage. They're just folks that are actually just trying to get some food.
Yeah, trying to get their kids fed, and it's just, I don't know. It's so frustrating for us out here in the world to look at that and say, how can these people play as puppets, their constituents, and expect to get reelected and stay in power And it's all about power. It's all about control. I mean, they're saying the quiet part out loud now. They're saying, okay, yeah, people are going to suffer, but it's the only leverage we got. It's the only leverage we got. Oh, my gosh.
And the federal unions that are out there have all made public statements now for their union leadership saying, we get your point, now reopen the government. And they've ignored even their union leaders.
Okay, I'm going to jump off this topic real quickly and go to the midterms, okay, because, I mean, that's a big deal. That's coming up. This Mandami thing that you talked about. Is there enough legal votes, and I'm going to stress legal votes, to get the Democrats control of the House again and swing it their way?
Yeah, there is actually, and it just depends on where the American people are next year. So when we get to the elections a year from now, the American people will decide what direction they want to go. I would tell you, President Trump has been very focused on the midterms. He continues to be able to campaign, continues to be able to raise money to be able to try to help folks, especially in the House. He does not want to be impeached again, and he knows if Democrats win the House, they're going to try to impeach him again and go through this whole drama all over again, because that is their playbook, is to be able to find some way to be able to attack President Trump and to be able to try to impeach him again. So he's been very focused on doing the fundraising, doing the stuff that he's got to do on it, but we're a year away from that. The primaries start pretty quickly. As you know, the Texas primary will be the first of the primaries that will happen. Right. That's actually in March the 3rd, and then they'll roll through next year and get ready for the November election.
I'm all about the paper ballots, and I'm all about you have to be a U.S. citizen to cast a ballot.
Yep, you do. And by the way, I like the paper ballot as well because then you can actually verify it. It's old school, but it definitely works.
Yes, and I'm okay with old school on stuff that works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Isn't that how it should work, Senator?
I don't mind old school either because, again, it's back to I don't need AI to tell me who to be able to vote for. I know who to vote for.
Oh, boy. That's another whole can of worms. But, on the energy side of things, it seems like, Trump just got off his Asian swing, so to speak. And we're seeing some movement in trade negotiations and that are going to help the United States in the energy sector.
Yeah, they will, actually, and trying to be able to open up opportunities for energy and to be able to put pressure on Russia. The president this past week put sanctions on the top 2 Russian oil companies, and the president's putting pressure on India to stop buying Russian oil that he's using to actually make money to kill his neighbors in Ukraine. And so the president's working to be able to put leverage on it, but that also affects international trade, obviously, in oil and gas. I met with some of the Spanish members of Parliament this week to say, you guys have got to stop buying natural gas from Russia. If you need natural gas, we've got plenty of in Oklahoma that we can ship to you. Why are you buying this from Russia? We've got other European countries that are buying American gas, but Spain continues to buy Russian gas. So we're working to be able to shift the market to say, listen, American companies can provide this for you. You've got to get off this Russian dictator.
I totally agree. I think he's pushing the right buttons. And again, is there a solution to this shutdown? I mean, is there a solution? And do you see resolution of this anytime soon?
Yeah, I don't see it in the next 24 hours. I don't see it even in the next 72 hours. This is all now in Schumer's hands, where it's been at the very beginning. Schumer started the shutdown, and he is blocking his own colleagues on the Democrat side from negotiating to get out of it until he considers it time to stop it. So until Schumer decides America's suffered enough, it's not going to change at this point, because we're certainly not going to give him $1.5 trillion and do new climate change policies and new money for Obamacare that he's demanding. He knows that. That's why he's getting such ridiculous demands. But this just leaves us in this moment.
Well, I pray that this moment passes, and I pray for all those that are, needing food to eat, get it. And
we should be taking care of our neighbors. Food banks, our churches are really stepping up to be able to help people. That's a really good thing. And as you can help in your own church and do what we can, that's a blessing to our neighbors.
Well, Senator, keep fighting the good fight. We appreciate you carving out time to talk with us. And if you come up with any inside news that this is going to, maybe end, holler at me and we'll throw you back on.
Sounds good. We'll see if we can get it solved in an hour, but that's in Schumer's lap currently. But, bless y'all. Keep praying for the nation.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your service. U.S. Senator James Lankford. we're out of time. My lovely assistant is here in the studio. I'm going to tap her camera on here. We got about another 18 seconds. There she is. There she is. Anyway, we'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of the Exploring Energy Radio Show. We're slated to have Anthony Moore. So, have yourself a great day. Take your jacket with you.
The red, white, and blue flapping in the wind. That's what country sounds like. 96.5 KECO, Elk City.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa, President